The following thoughts on Happy Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Happy Hour.
Are you feeling classy today? Sit down for a glass of wine and listen to Happy Hour.
You're tuned in to Happy Hour, an hour where Happy rants about something. Sit back and listen in. Happy Hour is on now. Happy Hour is on now.
There really is no need to get production music because this isn't the Happy Hour show for today. This isn't a rant. This is more of an announcement, and I want to explain because ever since I've moved to town, Happy Hour has grown so much. And I cannot thank guys like Mike Kelta, Drew Garabo, Johnny B, Maurice Javon enough for promoting the show. Even when they tease it, it helps get the word out there. So they have been absolutely classy to me, and I appreciate it. And it's one of those things where it's had a good run. Happy Hour has. I've had over 30 interviews with people from major markets, basically all the people here at 102.5 The Bone. And I've done great. I mean, I have 50,000 listens, 10,000 downloads. I have an app on the Google Play and the iOS shop. But recently, I wasn't really happy with Happy Hour. It was becoming more of a chore in the way that I would do it after I would deliver pizzas. So I'm already burnt out. I'm on caffeine like I am right now. But it was different because you're trying to force it out because you want to keep grinding in radio. You want to make it. And there's so much competition in the podcast world. Guys like Adam Carolla, Kevin Smith are the sharks. And podcasts like Happy Hour are the little guppy fish that you can get at PetSmart for $2. Like there's so much competition. You always have to keep grinding if you want to get your name out there. I've done a decent job of getting my name out in Tampa Bay, and people in Cleveland know who I am, and in Chicago. But it's one of those things where I want to get even bigger. So that's why I've been grinding. But it's one of those things where I haven't really been feeling it lately. I've had really good rants. I speak my mind. I get it out there, but I'm going, all the great shows like Mike Kelta, Drew Garabo, Billy Madison, Roger and JP, the BDRS, Opie and Jimmy, Howard, all the great shows have a team around them. And my team was just me ranting about whatever. And yeah, my rants are good, and I will keep ranting. Yeah, I will keep interviewing people on radio. And I killed it last night interviewing Law Smith, a local comedian here in Tampa Bay. It was an hour and a half of gold. It will be up later. And I interviewed Jeremy Loper from Loper and Randy in the morning in Columbus. But it's one of those things where I've been saying I need a team around me. If I ever want to make it in radio and be more than just this award-winning podcast in Tampa, I need to have a team around me. So about 7 weeks ago now, which is hard to believe it's been 7 weeks, Mike Kelta had his birthday party at the Hard Rock Cafe. Great time. Pitbull toddler killed it. I had so much fun working with the promotions team. Met so many great fans there. And I met this guy named Kyle Veet. And I immediately liked his vibe. I love all the fans here in Tampa Bay because they're diehard. They're passionate and they are real. They're not phonies. They're not mean. They just speak the truth and they will always have your back. And that's one thing I liked about Kyle was he was just real. He was likable and we had a good conversation. I felt like I knew the guy for 10 years, but we were just talking for 10 minutes. So we kept in touch. We ended up working out together. We ended up talking a lot. And it became one of those things where I said to myself, should I bring him in as a co-host? Maybe, but we work different schedules. I don't know. But then he helped me book Johnny Shelton from America's Got Talent, and that intrigued me. He's given me a lot of ideas, so that intrigued me. So I said, why not try and bring him in for a co-host? He sort of invited himself on Monday. He's like, yo, can I come around 6:30? I'm like, sure. And I knew what he was doing, and I kind of felt that this would be a good decision because I'm just getting sick of ranting by myself, even though I will keep doing it. So I bring in Kyle, and it was like we've been doing a show for 6 months. I immediately felt it. He was really good at bouncing off of me. So Happy Hour isn't going to be Happy and Kyle or Happy and Veet. I'm going to keep the name of Happy Hour because all the great shows have the names of Billy Madison Show, Mike Calta Show, Drew Garabo Live, Howard, Opie and Jimmy. They have that team around them. And I want to be the main host that brings everybody in. My ultimate goal is to be like those great hosts that I just mentioned and everybody else in radio. But you need a team around you. And Kyle is going to be the co-host and the producer who helps bring things in. So you can follow him on Twitter. It's not hard. It's @Hoppe Radio Kyle and @Happy Hour Kyle on Facebook. Spread the word. Tell him what you like. Tell him what you don't like. If you are a local comedian or you know local acts that would want to sit in on the podcast on probably Wednesdays and Thursdays, just let them know. So then I thought to myself, after we're doing the show, I did this show at WNUR 89.3 in Chicago every Saturday night from midnight to 4 a.m. It was called Hoppe and Super Rich, and it was a play on words with one of my best friends, Ryan, and his last name is Stuprich. So I came up with the nickname Hoppe and Super Rich. And there I was the host of the show, but Super Rich is like the old days. I feel like I'm back in Chicago. So I was thinking to myself as I was doing the show last night with Kyle V, I'm like, what if I have Super Rich be the newsreader? What if I have Super Rich speak the truth and it'll be like the Don and Mike show with Buzz Burbank, Opie and Anthony with Jim Norton, or Opie and Jimmy with a comedian, Mike Calta, Spanish Galvin, Drew Garabo, Seth, Soul Brother Kevin, Billy Madison, Nard, Derek, all the shows that have a team around them, said, why don't I bring in Super Rich to be the newsreader? So that's what I'm going to do. So I am honored to announce that Happy Hour is growing. It's going to be a great collaboration of interviews with people on radio, local comedians, and I hope to get some celebrities. It's going to be a mix of me ranting on the days that Super Rich and Kyle can't come on, or one of them can't, like tonight. And it's just going to be a fun time. I've wanted to do this for so long. It's been my ultimate passion. Like, it's almost not healthy how much I like radio. So it's one of those things where, like, ideas flow through my head all the time. Like, I work so hard to grow this brand that when I watched Boardwalk Empire by myself today for an hour, I felt like I was binge watching. And it was just an hour-long show. Like, I'm always working on booking guests, and I'm always working on making this brand big because I'm so honored to be in Tampa Bay. So honored to be working for 102.5 The Bone and to be a character or a sit-in on the Mike Calta show, and to be working in the same building as Mike Calta, Drew Garabo, Miguel Fuller, all the great hosts that are in this building. Doesn't seem like real life that Rob got me the job and Mike Olivero hired me. And I'm so honored that John Brennan lets me use one of the production rooms to record Happy Hour. And I want to thank all the fans who made this the award-winning podcast. I didn't vote for myself to get on the ballot. I'd be lying if I said I would vote for myself a decent amount when it came to voting for Best Podcast. But you guys are the reason that this brand is growing. So I want you to spread the word and tell your friends that Happy Hour is growing by the day, as I now have Kyle Veet as the executive producer and co-host, and Ryan Superrich as the newsman and the co-host. So I am very honored. If you want to listen to the show on demand, it's not hard. Download my app. I really want to get this going. You can listen to my show live and chat me live. Like, if you have the app and you're listening via the app right now, chat me so I know you're listening. Download Happy Radio in the iPhone and Google Play Shop. And there, you can listen to all 30 of my interviews since July. You can listen to all my rants and the news shows and listen to me live. Also, follow me on Twitter at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Email me, ryan@hopperadio.com. and go to hoppyradio.com. It's home to the archive of my interviews, the archive of my rants, and all the episodes of Hoppe TV, which is basically my periscopes of me doing the show. I save them and I upload them to YouTube. That has really helped the brand grow. And finally, support Hoppe Hour and support small business here in Tampa Bay, or Minnesota rather, in Duluth. My guy Nicholas Seymour has Solis Graphics, which makes badass graphics, makes badass decals. And for just $2, you can support Hoppe Hour and Solis Graphics. So you support indie podcasts and small business at the same time. Go to tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour Decal. That is tinyurl.com/Hoppe Hour Decal. All right, I just wanted to make a podcast that was an official announcement because not everybody watches Periscope. So I did one last night at 1 a.m. So I wanted to get it out there so you can hear this if you're listening via the podcast page on your computer, or if you're watching this Hoppe TV announcement and it'll be on YouTube, or if you're listening via the app. I just wanted to announce that Kyle Veet is the official executive producer at Hoppe Radio Kyle on Twitter, at Hoppe Hour Kyle on Facebook, and Ryan, STUPRICH, and at Ryan Hoppe Radio. Hoppe Hour now has a team, and I will look to keep growing the show and make it better than ever. All right, coming up next on Hoppe Hour, I will talk about this Illinois cop who killed himself. I will talk about this Illinois cop that is now found to be dirty, and Rebel Wilson. Never been the biggest fan of her. I don't think she's that funny, but she said something that I am proud of. I am glad that an A-list celebrity who is funny said something. But before I go, I have some comments. Let's see what's up. If I can load this. I often, whenever I'm trying to talk and load something, it always freezes. So there's my luck. All right. Kyle Veet is checking in. He is the co-host. Follow him on Spreaker because I assume he followed me. He said, yo, doing good, man. I'm there in spirit. Boy, is that the creepiest thing he's ever said. And I mean, he talked about having an Eiffel Tower threesome last night. So that says something. This has been Hoppe Hour, the announcement. Hoppe Hour is up next. Hang on, pimps.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour. The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent.
This is an official broadcast of Hoppe Radio. For more info, check out hopperadio.com and hoppesworld.com.